Hi everyone, it's Terry here, back with another process video for Peartree Cutfiles. This month I'm using the Summer Sun project pack, which is full of cut files and fabulous stencils and acrylic pieces and some of the new flare badges. There's so much in this pack that I've actually already made 4 layouts with it and got loads left to use. So this is one of the 2 exclusive cut files and it's called Sweet Summer Days, and I'm just painting the word days with some Cambella watercolours in a beautiful kind of blue metallic colour that's going to coordinate with the patterned papers that I'm using. So I'm going to use last year's Heidi Swap kind of summer collection, and I'm going to cut out the word summer from my patterned paper to pop up in the centre of that cut file. So the first thing I'm doing is just drawing round each of the letters on this patterned paper. So this rainbow side is going to be the back of the letters, and I'm just going to cut them all out individually. So I'm just doing that quickly with scissors, and then I distress the edges of each letter as well. So now I've distressed and cut out all those letters, I'm going to just create the base of my layout. I'm going to use this funky patterned paper with all the like curved banner type stripes on them, and what I want to do is just use these 2 pieces and I'm going to cut out each individual strip and distress the edges and add them onto my layout. So I have kept this all in, but what I have done is sped up the process so you can see how quickly this background comes together. Because I've distressed the edges, I am leaving a slight white gap between each piece as well, and some of them I have had to just trim down ever so slightly just so that they fit onto the layout. But that is the base of my layout, and I'm going to use the title cut file to overlap that central area. And you can see why I wanted to paint the word days, because that's going to be sitting on the white background, and obviously white on white you're not going to see it that much. I'm using these 3 photos from a recent trip to the Hope Valley ice cream parlour after a long hike in the Peak District. It was just what we needed. 2 of the photos are very similar, and originally I was going to stick them just slightly overlapping, but you'll see I do actually overlap them quite a lot, so you can't really see much of the background at the back photo, sorry. So I've stuck the cut file flush to the page, and then added in all those letters with foam pads. Just adding some doodled lines to the word sweet, just to add a bit more definition to it so it pops a little bit more on the page. And I don't add full lines, I add kind of strokes with dots in between. And now I'm starting to think about embellishment. So we've got these fab paper, textured paper flare, and they're lovely because they're not too fat, they sit really nice and flush if you want them to. They don't have foam on the back, and they're plastic, so they're not going to rust either, which makes them ideal. I'm also going to use this kind of jigsaw piece ice cream cone with the 3 different colours. So I did use a different one on a previous layout that had 2 white pieces and then a coloured piece in the centre, so you could mix and match. I'm going to use a couple of different flair on this layout. One I think is an ice cream and the other is one of the lollipops. So I'm just going through my ephemera and picking out what I want to add. So I'm going to pull in a few tags. So there's the big round tag from the die cut pack that says you and me together, and then I've cut out a couple of more kind of traditional tag shapes like luggage tags. One says yay and one says chillax and then has a definition. And what I'm going to do is add the chillax one over the top of the blue. I wanted to pull in a bit more of that kind of vibrant kind of teal turquoise blue because there is that strip on the right hand side, and then there is nothing else that colour at the moment on this layout. Just cutting out those lollipops a little bit because they had a little bit too much white around them for my preference, and then I'm just adding those. So what I'm going to do is create a cluster of embellishment at the bottom left hand corner of that top photo with a flare, a lollipop, and then those 2 tags. And then at the bottom of my photos on the right hand side, I'm going to create another cluster of embellishment there, and that's going to include that large tag and also the tab, kind of the label where I can write some journaling. So I'm sticking some of these flush to the page and then others popping up on foam pads to give a bit of dimension to the layout. There's some orange in this layout and it's not usually a colour I go for, but I wanted to pull in a bit more, so I'm just adding some orange baker's twine to the tags. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I can't add a tag that has a hole in it without adding something there. It just doesn't sit right with me and how I like to scrap. So you'll always see some thread or something, or a staple with something through it on my tags. So I'm just gluing down that acrylic ice cream cone and I'm using some glossy accents there, just a small amount on the back. And I'm using glossy accents as well to stick the flare down. I'm just adding a hole to those little tags before I stick them together. And again, I'm just adding a bit of that baker's twine through those and just tying it in a knot. Sometimes I do different things through my tags, so either traditionally like tuck through, or I might tie a bow on it and stick it on top, or for this one I've just added a little simple knot. So I noticed that there's kind of a white strip on each kind of the banner, and I just wanted to pull in some of that kind of decor, and what I'm using is these Graffiti Girl stamps, and I'm just using some black archival ink and just adding some dots in and around those clusters of embellishment. Now I'm getting to kind of the finishing touches that I like to do on my layouts, and I'm just going through my stash of sequins and working out what colours I want to use. And again, because there's not too much of that dark kind of teal blue, I decided to add a little bit more of that onto this layout. Apologies that you do seem to see my head quite a bit in this section, but I'm just adding them in and around those embellishment clusters. So this is my layout completed. Thank you for joining me on YouTube today. If you've enjoyed watching it, then please subscribe, and if you head over to the Peartree Cutfiles Facebook group, there's lots more inspiration from all the DT, and the links can be found in the information below. Bye for now.